So I want you to understand the process, not so much the numbers. Don't focus on the numbers of this problem. They are not like the one you just did. They're different, but I want you to focus on the process to solving this. All right, this is a two-step inequality. It's the same steps as a two-step equation. Okay, so I've got to get my x by itself. I'm going to box it in. I know some of us actually box in the 3x. So I'm going to do that because I want to get that by itself. I want to isolate x, okay, because that's what I'm trying to solve for. And also the reason I do that is because it shows me what operation is being done, okay? So to undo an inequality in an equation, we have to do these things called inverse operation, which means we do the opposite of what's being done. So in this case, I'm adding 6. So I need to do the opposite of adding 6. Well, the opposite of addition is subtraction. So I put a -6 there. And the reason I do that is because these two things will end up canceling each other. Because if I take away 6 from +6 or +6, I have nothing left. So that's why I do that. But also with equations, what you do to one side, or inequalities, it's the same thing as equations. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. It's called balance, keeping it balanced. Okay, we can't just subtract 6 from one side and then not subtract 6 from the other. That changes the entire problem. So we have to do it to both sides. Okay, so what that does is that brings down the 3x. I've told you these two cancel each other because I take 6 away from 6 and nothing's left. So I have 3x. I didn't do nothing with the inequality symbol, so I'm going to bring it down, keep it the same. And then I do take 6 away from 36, so I'm left with 30. So now, I want to isolate just the x. I'm going to box it in, okay? I think a lot of us are struggling when seeing what this means right there. That means I'm multiplying by 3, okay? There's an imaginary multiplication symbol between those two. So if I were to actually bring the 3 out a little bit, you could write in a multiplication symbol right there. That's what that means, okay? So to undo that, I have to do the opposite of multiplication, the inverse operation. The inverse of multiplying by 3 is dividing by 3, okay? And I do this because, once again, I want to cancel those two. That's why I do inverse operation, is so I can cancel the 3's. But what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Remember, got to keep it balanced, okay? So I bring down my x, and then I do 30 divided by 3. So I'm going to split 30 into 3 groups, and each group is going to have 10. 30 divided by 3 is 10. Now, we have to make sure that we did not divide by negative. Well, of course I didn't. This is a +3. And the reason that's a big deal is because remember that rule. When we multiply or divide by a negative, we have to flip the inequality symbol. But in this case, we did not have to, so we keep it, okay? And so what this is saying is that I want x greater than 10. So what that means is any number that's bigger than 10 is a solution for the original problem. Okay, so let's pick a number bigger than 10. Let's say 12. All right, so if I plug 12 in up here, okay, first I'll do 3 times 12, which is 36. And then if I add 6 to that, I get 42, and that's bigger than 36. So what this answer is saying is that any number bigger than 10 gives me a number, when I plug it in up here, that's bigger than 36. And that's what we want. So that's how you solve a two-step inequality. It's the same thing as a two-step equation. It's just not an equal sign. And we have that one rule where if we divide or multiply by a negative, we have to flip it. Okay, but remember, isolate your x. Get your x by itself and do inverse operations to get the final answer.